Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Annie Talks. I am your host, Annie Rivera. Thank you for joining this podcast. We hope that you will continue to listen and be sure to rate this podcast. Please leave a review, and if you could be so kind as to rate this podcast, I would so appreciate it. As you know, from time to time we bring on special guests to talk about things that are interesting, things that are upcoming, interesting stories, whatever it may be. And I have a fantastic story that I'd like to share with you. As some of you may know, I have done musical theater around the Southland. It was actually one of my very first majors right out of high school. I went to a performing arts school, so that's neither here nor there. But I have a special guest that I brought on to the show, who I met while performing in Chess a couple years ago, the musical Chess, which is kind of a rock opera musical, and it's as though we hit it off pretty quickly, he and I. I brought him on the show so that we could talk about his transition from his hometown, Florida, to here, California. A little bit about this person. His name is Alphonso Walker Jr. He's a graduate of Florida Atlantic University with a Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Theater Performance and a minor in dance. He has specialized in musical theater and dance and holds a firm belief that dancing is fun, that everyone can enjoy. So in just a few minutes, I'll bring Alphonso on so that he can tell his story. And I think that what is interesting about Alphonso is that he has one of the best attitudes and the best can-do and will-do attitudes and outlook in life that I absolutely admire. So, without further ado, I bring to you my conversation with Alphonso Walker Jr. We have Alphonso Walker Jr. on the phone. Alphonso, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you, Annie, so much for having me. It's a pleasure as always.
Alphonso Walker Jr. has a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in theater performance. He's originally from Florida, and his theater background has propelled him and to make the move here to California to pursue TV and film. So, Alphonso, tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about, how that thought came to mind and what helped you make that move here to California.
Sure. Well, when I first began my college career, I've been doing this so long since I was a child, but when I began my college career, searching for colleges, writing to colleges, my first choice for college, for university was actually UCLA. Okay, I know you're familiar with that. They had a musical theater program, and I actually flew out to audition. However, when I found out how much it would cost, I changed my mind a little bit because of the out-of-state tuition. But, of course, my major is a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Performance. My minor is dance, which means my degree was geared towards performance, but the BA part of it means I did all the studying, I did all the writing that any other college student would do, and the F is, for the fine arts, meaning that it's a specialization. And it requires a few more credits than other degree programs. Basically, I started off in theater, and I had done theater for so long, just show after show, I can't even name all the shows that I've done and how many different roles I played, but I ended up saying I'm interested in film and television. It was new to me when I started to study film and television and learning things about it. And of course, acting is acting. And of course, if you're a good actor on the stage, you're a good actor on film. But I found that, telling story through film and television is really interesting. It's really a great way to storytell. And of course, the aspect of being able to get more information to people through film and television. this stage.
Right. So tell us, what are some of your challenges that you're facing here in California with, the film industry, the TV industry? Is it harder than they say? Is it easy to break into? Is it hard to break into? What are some of your challenges?
Well, the challenge is, first of all, I'll say living in California, Southern California is fun. That is one big challenge to have to overcome is, hey, I've got to do the research, I've got to do the work, I can still have fun in Southern California, but I really have got to stay on top of things and try and work a little more than having fun, because you can get caught up in the LA Hollywood faux movie star lifestyle, going out to clubs and the beach and all of those things like that. But the challenge is that there are a lot of actors. There are so many of us out here. There are so many talented people out here that all want it just as much as you do. Varying degrees, talent, and education. I chose, many people say, hey, you don't have to go to college to be an actor. I chose to go to college, to the university, because my parents really wanted that for me. My parents wanted me to have something that could never be taken away from me. And while at first I really didn't want it, but now I understand that, hey, I'm proud. Having a college degree means, hey, I can stick to something. And that has carried over. I can stick it out until I finish and complete my goal.
Would you say that the transition has been easy, or would you say that it's, not the easiest transition? What would you speak to that as to, what you think that transition has been like for you?
Okay, well, the transition from going from stage to television, the first thing I shot when I came to Los Angeles was episode 11 of Judge Maybelline for Court TV, in which I played Jay Curry. The transition from film to stage, you just have to remember that there are certain aspects on stage. You don't have to speak as loud. You don't have to be as large on film because the camera is right there and it catches everything you do. So, I see that the transition has not been difficult, but it has been different. And sometimes, you just try and ease yourself, because if you feel in your nerves, the camera is going to magnify it. The camera is going to see it. So, the transition from film to television is just, for me, a technical difference. It's not anything as far as my thought process, as far as characterization. It's all the same. However, it's just the aspect of how loud do I speak, how big are my gestures. I feel like with film and television, it allows you to really rope it in and be a lot more specific. Whereas on stage, you are expected to play to a large house. I don't have to give my performance. I don't have to take my performance and magnify it myself. The back row will be reached on camera, regardless of what I do. Everyone will see it on camera. I won't have to make it bigger than what it is.
Right. So you mentioned challenges early. Let's touch back on that. So how do you stand out if it's a saturated field, there's far, more actors and, in this field. And so how do you stand out? How do you make yourself stand apart from everyone else?
The way to make yourself stand apart from everyone else, people tell you different tricks. People say, oh, do this when you walk in. Say your name this way. Make people remember you by not saying your name. Shake hands. Do this. Speak this way. Be yourself. Whatever that is. I have a friend who told me to just be yourself, that sticks with me, because the only thing that you can be in this industry or any other industry or in this lifetime that no one else can be is yourself. That's all you can be that no one else can be, is yourself. We can all be doctors. We can all be lawyers. We can all be singers, dancers, but no one else can be Alphonso Walker. No one else can be Annie Nadell or anyone else. We are who we are, and that is what's special and unique about us. So I feel as though, the way to overcome those things are to, as the old saying, accentuate the positives, eliminate the negatives. Whatever your strengths are, display those to the max.
Right. Now, would you say that piece of advice is working? Is it getting you further, into the field where you want to be, or do you think there's still some work to be done?
I feel as though, it's difficult to always stay true because there are so many influences out there. There's so much going on. There's so many, people telling you, oh, this is what you should do to be successful. But the road to success is different from each person. And I feel that staying true to yourself, staying true to who you are is really a difficult thing. But if you can manage that, I feel as though at the end of the day, when you rest at night, when it's all said and done, I feel fine. I was truthful and honest in my performance. I was truthful and honest in my interactions, and that for me is enough, whether I get the role or not.
So it sounds like, the advice is working, and it does sound it's to each his own. Basically, you make what it is, what you can, and being yourself gets you one step closer to your goal. So let's talk about your performance. You have an upcoming performance. I'm so excited to tell the world about this. So tell us about your role and what your performance is and when it's running.
Well, we actually open tonight. Okay, Beauty and the Beast for Louis K. Taylor Performing Arts Center at Monrovia High School. And we actually open Beauty and the Beast tonight. We're performing tonight through Sunday. That show will be tonight at 8 p.m., Friday at 8 p.m., Saturday at 2 and 8, and Sunday at 5. So those are the shows. The role I'm playing in this show is the role of the baker in Beauty and the Beast, as well as a ensemble member in the show. And an ensemble member is basically one of the actors who worked as background to help create the world of the show. It's kind of like a chorus. It's a chorus role.
Right. I mean, it's a short run nonetheless, but I've seen these performances, these productions at the facility, at the venue, and they're all fabulous. And for aspiring actors out there, what piece of advice, what one takeaway would you like to give them?
Well, first of all, be true to yourself and who you are. And secondly, work your butt off all the time. Never, ever stop working. Never stop seeking. Never stop looking. It's just constantly, you have to constantly go and seek and do and submit. You just have to keep on doing it. And remember, what God has for you is for you. Whatever role is out there for you, it's for you. Whatever part is out there for you, it's for you, and no one else can have it. It's specifically, yours. Hard work, a whole bunch of faith, and it's possible. All things are possible.
Well, everyone, I think these are all golden pieces of advice from our friend Alphonso Walker Jr. Alphonso, I wish you well, and I break a leg, as they say, in show business, and have a great run. And thanks so much for being on this show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Annie. I appreciate being interviewed.
All right, take care. Say hi to everybody for me.
Sure will. Bye.
Okay, take care. Hey everybody, we hope you enjoyed this podcast and hearing from my friend Alphonso Walker Jr. And for those of you who are aspiring actors, whether it be film, TV, or stage, we hope that this was a wealth of information. Great piece of advice, always to be yourself and work hard and work strong and pursue the life that you like. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to rate the podcast. Be sure to review it. Any information that you'd like to share with us, please be sure and leave it in the comments section. And let us know if there's other topics that you'd like to hear about. And we would definitely do our best to bring those podcasts to you. Thank you again. If you haven't already subscribed, please be sure to do so. Thanks again, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you for tuning in. You've been listening to Annie Talks.